County Social Services. How can I help you?
Hi, I'm calling. I don't know exactly who to call. I'm trying to figure out where I can get copies of the policies that Child Protective Services in Hanover County specifically has to follow.
Do you have an open case or?
No, I do not. I'm with a nonprofit group, and we're just trying to get a copy of the county policy. Excuse me. We called the county commissioners, and they said to call this number.
Okay. Let's see if I can put you through to. Hold, please. Okay. All over me. Child Protective Services, this is Mary Beth.
Hi, this is Jennifer with PAL. I'm trying to figure out where we can get copies of the county's policies, for Child Protective Services.
So there's not really county policies for Child Protective Services. There are state policies for Child Protective Services, and you can retrieve those from the DHHS website.
So there's not separate county ordinances? No. Is it a county agency or a state agency?
It is a county agency.
Okay.
It's a agency that is, it's a program that is essentially run by the county, but has to meet the mandates of the state, if that makes sense.
Okay. So there's not any specific county policies or anything like that specific for New Hanover County?
We have informal policies that we have formulated for our agency, but not for a county. And tell me who you're with again?
PALS.
PALS? P-A-L-S?
Yes.
What is that?
Well, it's a parental rights group, and we're just kind of investigating what's been going on with the different counties. Some of the counties have their own separate ordinances. We see the state policies, but in New Hanover County, we're having a problem finding their specific county policies. I called the county commissioners. They sent us to you guys. But most counties, if it's county run, have their own specific written policies as well. But for some reason in Hanover County, we can't find any.
Well, and it actually surprises me that you say that you found it with other counties, because we all follow the same state. I mean, our manual and our policies and everything is issued through the state, and then we execute those policies and standards and mandates at the local level, but we all get them from the state.
Okay. Is there anybody in charge of training or anything like that with the department?
For Child Protective Services, each supervisor is in charge of tracking their workers' training.
Okay, so the supervisors are the ones that train?
No. The state provides training. There are state-mandated trainings that social workers have to go through before they get a caseload. They are required, and then there's a whole other tier of trainings that they have to do within their first 12 months.
Is there any
ongoing? That's all on the state. That's all on the state website.
Is it the training PowerPoints on the state website as well, or?
No.
Is there any way?
I wouldn't think there's a. It talks about the requirements for the training, but it doesn't actually provide the trainings on the website. We have to actually send our people to those trainings.
Okay, so the best way to get a copy of this would be to go through the state office?
You'd have to go through the state because it's their trainings.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Bye-bye. Hello?
Hey, I'm sorry, is this Mary Rubric?
This is Mary Beth Rubright.
I think I was just talking to you. I had
You were.
I'm sorry. Okay.
That's okay.
Is there any way you could explain your warrant policy for when you remove children?
It's on a warrant. We actually, when we remove children, we have a judge that signs a court order for the removal. It's called a non-secure custody order.
And how is that obtained?
The social worker and the social worker supervisor staff the situation with our agency attorney. The agency attorney drafts a petition and a non-secure court order, and then the social worker takes that to a judge and explains what's going on, and the judge reviews the order, and then if the judge is in agreement that a removal needs to occur, the judge signs the order.
Is there a hearing for that where the parents are there as well, or?
Not prior to the order, but within 7 days of the removal, there's a 7-day court hearing. And I say within 7 days, they're all on Wednesdays, so if your child were removed on a Tuesday, you would have court the next day. But the statute is it has to occur within 7 days.
And then at that hearing, do the parents have an opportunity to dispute what's going on? Is it like a full hearing where they could get their child back, or is it just to review the placement that they're in?
It's to review the placement, because the hearing that you're talking about, where all of the facts are reviewed and there's testimony, is the adjudicatory, or the adjudication hearing.
So at the 7-day hearing, there's a hearing, but the parents can't actually dispute anything there? They can't actually...
Well, they can't. I mean, the purpose of the hearing is to review the placement, and like if a parent says, well, I'd rather have my child placed with, my mother instead of in foster care, I mean, that's the primary purpose of the hearing. However, I know that oftentimes other information is entered as well, and attorneys are assigned. And
so does the parent have an attorney at this hearing, at the first hearing?
They can bring one. If they've hired an attorney, they can certainly bring one. If they don't have one, then that would be the time for them to ask for a court-appointed attorney.
Okay, I'm sorry. One more question. So, you guys realize that there's that federal law, due process, even demands that there's a prior hearing and notice to the parents before a child is removed. So I'm trying to figure out why in Hanover County, it's North Carolina as much as you guys, doesn't do a prior hearing before they remove children.
And that would certainly be a conversation that you would need to have with, somebody with a legal background. I mean, we follow our state mandates.
Right, and the state mandates, I mean, I say it's a statewide problem, but the state statute, there's an option to not have a hearing before, but that's if the child is in immediate danger where a hearing could not be held. Is there ever times where there is a hearing held prior to the child be removing?
There are. That would be when we file a petition for court intervention, but we don't seek a non-secure order. So that means we go to court and have the hearing, and the judge can always place the child in our custody at that time, but not always. Sometimes that hearing just happens in an effort to get the court's involvement to mandate services for the family. So that does occur as well.
Is the child usually in an immediate danger when you do remove them, or
yes, that's part of what we allege every time. If we go take custody of the child, it's because we feel like they are at imminent risk.
Okay, but adjudication hearings, those are usually held how long after the child is taken?
I don't know that I can answer that with any accuracy. And I think they try to schedule them within several weeks, but I think it's usually dependent upon the court's calendar and the parent's attorney's calendar for how quickly they can get them scheduled.
So children are
I'll be right
taken.
with you. Okay. I'm going to have to wrap this up. I've got somebody waiting for me.
Okay, this is my last question. So you guys take children based on no hearings, based on just a petition, a written form by a social worker and their supervisor, and then you wait several weeks before the parents actually get to dispute their children being taken. Is that correct?
No. It's a social worker and a supervisor and an attorney that draft those documents, and then a judge reviews them, reviews the case with the social worker, and then the judge signs the order. We can't take custody of a child without a judge's order.
And are the parents served a copy of that order and petition when the child is removed?
Typically, yes. If a parent demands a copy of that at the time of removal, we have that with us.
Okay. It's not something that's called in or anything like that. That's actually in their hands when that happens.
It's actually in their hands, yeah.
Okay. So I guess that's all I have for now since you're busy. I'll give you a call back if you have any more questions.